not fun. They were horsing around playing. Do not take your weapon out of your holster unless you have need to use it. All right? Don't take your weapon for granted. Use how you use it properly. Most accidents happen when people are either tired or not paying attention to what they're doing. All right? If you slack up and you don't pay attention to what's going on, that's when bad things happen. All right? So please don't do that. And how many of y'all of age? How many of y'all are 21? All right, the rest of y'all shouldn't matter y'all anyway because you can't drink. All right, but alcohol, gunpowder, don't mix. Don't ever mess with that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and mess with it. Hey, do any of y'all have kids? All right, do you have firearms in the home?
Yes, sir.
You do? Do y'all? You man? Okay. You guys got gun locks and stuff like that for your guns, safes, and all that? Good. All right. This is particular to you guys. All right. So, Captain, y'all still using weapons conditions?
Right.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, haven't you?
All right. That's good. That was going off of what I used to do. All right. So condition 4. All right. Condition 4 for your weapon. When you go to the range and your range master is telling you to have your weapon in condition 4, what does that mean? All right. Condition 4. It's going to be very, very simple. That's a clear weapon. All right. Condition 4 is very, very simple. All right. Condition 4 is the weapon by itself with no magazine in it, no rounds. All right. Completely empty weapon. All right. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
So condition 4 would probably be in your holster, something like this. All right. Condition 4, no magazine, no rounds. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any magazine, correct? Give me magazine?
Yes, sir.
Any magazine? Yes, sir. Condition 3. Weapon, magazine, inserted. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Magazine inserted into weapon, condition 3. Condition 2 is not going to apply to you guys. Condition 2 does not apply. All right, you're not shooting open bolt weapons. All right, so you're not shooting medium or heavy machine guns, so it's not going to matter to you. All right, condition 1. Condition 1 is going to be the magazine inserted with a round in the chamber. That's condition 1. Like this weapon right here, right now. That's condition 1. That means I can take the weapon out and use it if I have to. It's loaded and ready to go. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's condition 4? So what?
The weapon itself, no magazine, sir.
And no rounds, right?
Yes, sir.
Weapon completely empty. What's condition 3?
Weapon with the magazine, sir.
Right. Magazine inserted into the weapon. All right. Plus condition 2. Does it apply?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. What about condition 1? Round in the chamber, weapon loaded, go. All right. Everybody good with that?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So, you guys have any questions on that? Set this stuff down. So, we'll go over some nomenclature. I'm going to touch on the revolver real quick, just so you guys are aware. All right, but you guys are mainly going to be focused on semi-automatics, so that's what we're going to talk about. M9. All right, M9 Beretta is exactly what you're going to be carrying. And this is important so that you know what you're talking about when you're going to the range, you know how to operate the weapon. All right? So your nomenclature for your semi-automatic, all right, this is the frame. All right, right here. This is your frame being the lower receiver of the weapon. All right? This is your muzzle, right? This is what I was talking about, where the projectiles come out, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Front sight is going to be very important to you. The barrel right here. All right. Your chamber is going to be in here. This whole upper part right here is your slide. So that's going to be the carrier for your upper receiver. Rear sight. All right. The M9 Beretta is going to have a decock and safety in one. All right. On some pistols, it's two separate. All right. But on your M9, it's the same thing. All right. And it's ambidextrous. So you have one on each side. Okay. Everybody get with that?
Yes, sir.
So, if this ambidextrous switch right here, which is your safety and your decocker, is going down, right? It's facing down, that weapon is on safe. Right? If it is in line with the barrel, it is on fire. Everybody get with that?
Yes, sir.
You should have a little red dot in here. It'll also let you know it's on fire. All right, that's a quick way to look. All right, on your Beretta, you have what's called an external hammer. All right? Remember, when you were kids, you were playing cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians, right? And you had your little cap guns, and you had the thumb, you had to cock it with your thumb. All right? The part that you were cocking with your thumb, that is the hammer. All right? That is the hammer. So that's the same exact thing you're seeing right there. All right? That's your hammer. So, right here, you have your slide release or slide stop. All right. The back strap is the back part of what you guys are going to be referring to as your grip. The back strap's here. The grip is actually the side panels. The front strap, magazine release. And I know I'm running through this quick, y'all. All right, but you'll see it better when I hand out the weapons. We go over a little bit more detail. All right, trigger guard. You have a takedown lever. How many of y'all seen like a Jackie Chan, like Kung Fu movie, right? Y'all seen that kind of stuff? You know what I'm talking about? When they get in a fight and Jackie Chan reaches up and he rips the whole top of the gun off?
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all seen that, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. How does Jackie Chan do that? He's not magic. He's not that strong. He's not going to rip that weapon apart. This is what he does. He reaches up and grabs that takedown lever and flips it down with his hand, and you pull the whole upper receiver off the weapon. All right? Slide, barrel, all that stuff's coming out. All right? That's what he's doing. Okay? Some weapons have them. Some weapons, they do not look like that at all. And you'll see that on the blocks. Blocks are completely different. All right? But on your SIG, it's a little bit different. But on your Beretta, all you got to do is flip that down, and you're going to take that whole slide off. All right. Once again, here's your frame, your floor plate, your magazine, and then you got a cartridge in the top of the magazine. All right. Any questions on those? I promise you we'll go over it in a little bit more detail. All right. When I hand weapons out, I just want to get through this right. Everybody good with that? Any questions? All right. So where's your safety? So on the back of the slide right here, is it on the left or right side? It's on both, right? So if the lever's pointed down, what is that? If it's pointed straight down the barrel, what is that? Okay. Alright. I just threw this up here just so you guys would be able to see it, and at least if you ran across one, you know what you're looking at. Alright? How many of y'all have handled revolvers before? Oh wow. That's more than my officers usually. Alright. Alright. Not a whole lot of difference, really. Alright. Got your frame. Alright. Rear sight, front sight, muzzle. This is your barrel here. This is your hammer. Your cylinder release, that's the button you push. It lets the cylinder fall out. Back strap, grip, front sight, trigger guard. Trigger is in here behind the cylinder. This is your cylinder. This is where your rounds go, and that's your ejector rod. So you can figure it out whenever you guys handle one. All right. So the cycle of operations. This is very important, so that when your weapon malfunctions, you understand what's happening to it. All right. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm gonna throw all these up here. So. This is what I got, and this is the best way I'm going to show you. These are dummy rounds. These are inert rounds. I'm gonna pass these out to you guys. You can see what I'm talking about. Take a look at that. Alright, you'll see it looks right. It looks a lot like a regular round, right? You have your metal shell casing, alright? And then where the projectile will be, and the rest of the round is plastic, right? Anytime you see these, they're usually orange. Alright, almost all the time they're orange. Alright, if they're a different color, you better start looking close because it might be a semi. Alright, which has a little bit different layout. But almost all of your dummy rounds you'll ever see are orange. Alright, everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
So, the cycle of operation, which is semi-automatic handgun. Alright? So, a couple of different ways to load it. You can either lock the slide to the rear, insert your magazine, and release your slide forward, and that does what? That load around, change it around, right? Alright? Or I can have my slide forward, alright, and my magazine inserted, and then rack the slide in order to load it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to insert this magazine with these dummy rounds in it. Alright, so feeding, what do y'all think feeding is?
Round in the chamber, sir.
Go into
Say what now?
Round in the chamber, sir.
No. That's chamber. Alright, so feeding. Alright, this is your layout, right? You have your magazine. You have your round on the top of the magazine. Right? As your slide is coming forward, the slide's moving forward real fast, right? What is that slide doing? It is stripping that top round out of your magazine, all right, and pushing it onto the feed ramp in the chamber, all right? If you look at the bottom of any weapon, pretty much except for a revolver, at the bottom of the barrel, you've got a little lip going down like this, all right? It's angled, all right? That's going to be your feed ramp, all right? So it's pushing that round off the top of the magazine onto the feed ramp, and it's feeding the round into the chamber. Everybody clear with that?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So that's what's happening. So it's feeding it. All right. Once that round, once that thing is going all the way forward, and it stops and is not moving anymore, what did it just do?
Chamber.
It chambered. Chamber is when that round fully seats inside that chamber, no matter what that chamber is or house is on. When that round stops moving, it's completely seated inside the chamber. That is chambered. All right. Something else also happens at the same time. At the same time that thing finishes chambering, it locks. And I know you guys are looking like, what are y'all talking? What are you talking about? It locks. All right. So, you guys know what happens when you pull the trigger, right? There's a big explosion in here, and that's what makes the projectile come out. Right? What happens is that barrel has a locking block behind it. Okay? So as that slide comes forward, and it's a little bit different on every weapon, right? But what happens is that slide comes forward and moves past that locking block, and it locks in place. All right? That way, the gun doesn't blow up in your hand when you pull the trigger. Because I promise you, if it didn't lock, that round will be going off and you'd be feeling it. All right? I've had it happen to me. It's not fun. Okay? So the barrel and the slide lock into place. All right? Firing, very simple. Firing pin comes forward, hits the primer of the round. Those dummy rounds, if you look at the bottom of them, at the bottom of the casing, there's a circle there. You can see inside that, you'll see that orange plastic for the dummy round. All right, that's where the primer of the round is. What happens is that's a small little bit of explosive in there. The firing pin comes through, hits that, and ignites it. That lights the powder inside the casing. It causes a hot, fast burn, and that pushes the projectile off the end of the round. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's firing. Bam. After that, once that thing goes off, and that chamber reaches a certain pressure, that pressure gets so great inside the chamber with this handgun, it unlocks the barrel. All right, it unlocks the slide in the barrel. What it also does, when it unlocks, it automatically starts pushing back. All right, everybody good with that? So the slide starts coming back. As the slide's coming back, you have this little piece on the side right here. And it's pretty much the exact same for M9. All right, it's pretty much the exact same. And what that does, if you look at that dummy round I gave y'all, right, at the bottom of that round on the casing, there's a lip. All right, y'all don't understand what I'm talking about? There's a lip at the bottom of it. The extractor is like a fish hook. It hooks onto that lip. As the slide's coming back, it pulls that round out of the chamber. Everybody good? It pulls that shell casing out of the chamber, and that's extracted. Now right behind that, there's a rod that sticks out just a little bit. All right, just a little bit. And what happens is after that slide goes back to a certain point, that rod hits that shell casing and pushes it out and ejects it. So it looks like this. Right? Round came out. Slide goes all the way back. It does what? What's the last thing up there? Cocking, right? It's gotta be cocked before you can fire it, correct? It's gotta be in a good firing position. All right? So it cocks it, it goes forward, and all of this happens faster than you can blink. Milliseconds. It happens faster than you can blink. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions on that? So with a semi-automatic, where are you going to run into problems? If you pull the trigger and it goes click, what kind of problems do you have? Well, obviously you got a firing problem if it goes click. All right? Your malfunction could be a part of any of this. Any of these things do not happen, that weapon is not going off. Everybody good with that?
Yes,
If
sir.
any of these things happen, that weapon is not going off. So, does anybody have any questions about your cycle of operation? Feeding, chambering, locking, firing, unlocking, extracting, ejecting, and cocking. All right, all of that has to happen. Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Instrument second class Selkie. What's the most common problem out of all those?
Your most common problem out of all those is going to be one of two. It's going to be one of two. It's going to be a failure to extract, all right, or it's going to be a failure to feed. That's going to be your two most common. All right, and one hurts the other. If one happens, if it fails to extract, guess what it won't do? It won't feed. All right. If it fails, if it's failing to feed, it could be a weapon problem or it could be a magazine problem. Right. So if you have these types of issues, right, when you clear the weapon out, it would behoove you to put in a fresh magazine because you don't know where your malfunction is coming from. Everybody good with that?
Yes,
So
sir.
we'll go over some of that, and I'm going to touch more on that in a little bit. All right. Marksmanship is pretty much broken down like this: grip, stance, side alignment, sight picture, trigger manipulation, follow through, breathing, and then your draw and presentation. Gunny, when you got to go to the range, will they be coming out of holsters or not? They will not. They will not? Okay. All right. I'll skip that part here for y'all. All right. I can touch on it if you want. All right. So your grip. Your grip is the first thing you need to do. All right. You know what? I got some. Every other person has to read. They're all pretty much the same. I got some more up here if y'all want. We're just kind of spacing myself as y'all talking about. So. All right, the grip. Any of these things, all right, with the grip, one of your most important things with the grip is, if you look at your hand, right, how many people are right-handed? All right, how many of y'all are lefties? All right. Hey, that's all good, because I shoot with both. I shoot long guns left-handed, and I shoot short guns right-handed. All right. So, here's the deal with your grip. Open your hand up, the webbing in between your thumb and your pointer finger, okay? What you want is you want that as high on the back strap as possible. So you see this little tongue right here? Everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. You want the web of your hand buried into there. Okay? Yes, sir. I got some more. So you want your hand, you want the web of your hand as far up the back strap as you can get. All right? However, that curved tongue right there is there for a reason. Why do y'all think that is? What's that? Yeah, it's so because you wrap the web of your hand around it, guess where the slide's going to go? It's going to go over top of your hand, and it's going to cut you up. All right? You want to be as high up on the back strap as possible. The other thing about the grip is this. When you grip, you want to apply pressure front to back from your knuckles to the back of your hand, to the heel of your hand. From the knuckles to the heel of your hand. All right? Your non-dominant hand or your free hand, your weak hand, whatever you want to call it, all right, is going to come wrap around, all right, even as much as possible. Your goal is this. It's very, very simple. All right, y'all with me so far? You staying with me? Your goal is very, very simple. You want as much of that grip as possible covered up. You don't want any gaps. You understand? So when I grip this weapon, my free hand doesn't need to be up here, so I've got this big gap. Y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
Hey, if you have not shot, if you have not gone and shot a pistol before, and you have a pistol, pass it to someone who's not as familiar. So we good?
All right, you want as much of that grip covered up as possible. All right. The easiest thing to do is lay your thumbs on top of each other like this. All right. You can cross them over. You can overlap them. Whatever you feel like you need to do. Everybody's a little bit different with that. All right. But the goal is to have all of that grip covered up as much as possible. What that does is it's going to stabilize the weapon when it goes off. All right. When that weapon fires, all right, when that weapon fires, not only is the slide coming back like this, all right, all of that other pressure is coming in to the grip, all right? So the weapon, when you actually fire it, is doing this, all right? It's moving all around, it's doing this, it's coming back, and it's doing this, all right? So you even your grip up on that weapon, you have as much of that grip covered up as possible. That basically makes sure everything is steady and even on the grip, so you don't have it pushing out to one side or the other. If you don't have it all covered, it's going to push out to the weakest point, right? It's going to force out to the weakest point, and it can really inhibit your shooting, all right? Any questions on that? The other thing about the grip is this. You guys, this is what I see all the time, okay? And I see it everywhere, all right? Do not overgrip the weapon. How many of y'all have shot and you're up there and you're holding the weapon up and you're like this and you're shaking? Has anybody done that before? Has anybody held the weapon up and you're shaking? All right? Sometimes it's because people are scared, I ain't gonna lie. All right? They're like, oh my God, what's about to happen? All right? But for most people, they are not scared. They're not shaking because they're scared. They're shaking because of their grip. All right? They're shaking because of their grip. If you have a death grip on this weapon and you're squeezing it so hard you have white knuckles, you're wrong. All right? I'll tell you flat out, you're wrong. Because what that does, When you're gripping a weapon that tight, it fatigues your muscles. What happens when your muscles get fatigued? They start shaking. Can you stop it? No. So when you're up on the line and you're firing, you're going like this, right? 9 times out of 10, you're over gripping the weapon. So how hard should you grip the weapon? Firm handshake, that's it. All right? Not trying to be Superman and break my hand or anything. All right? Just a nice, firm, regular grip of a handshake. That's as much as you need to grip a weapon and squeeze. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Breathe. Okay. All right, stance. All right, there's tons of different stances out there. All right, you have a weaver, a modified weaver, isosceles, modified isosceles, and dynamic. You're like, good God. All right, so this is the deal, right? It doesn't really matter which one you use, as long as you are comfortable. All right, me personally, I don't use any of that. It just is what it is. All right, so what's my weaver? Anybody know what a isosceles stance is? You do it? Shake your head.
Yeah,
What is it?
weaver is 1 foot front, 1 foot back. Right.
What's isosceles?
It's just like they're squared up.
Right, you guys are in an engineering school. You don't know what an isosceles triangle is? This is some 10th grade geometry stuff right here, right? So isosceles, right? Triangle, right? It's even on all sides. I've got my feet shoulder width apart. Right, my feet are shoulder width apart. My arms are even, and the weapon's just pointing straight out in front of me. Triangle, right? Isosceles, very easy. All right. So when you're shooting, when you're isosceles, just think of a tank turret, right? How you got to shoot when you're going from one target to another. The bottom of the tank doesn't move, right? The turret moves. You're the same way. Everybody guess?
Yes, sir.
All right. Weaver is nothing more than having your feet about shoulder width apart. All right. Your dominant side foot is going to be a little bit back. Your weak side foot is going to be a little bit forward. It's going to be like a combat stance, right? So if I'm going to box, I'm going to pretty much be about like this, right? Weaver is pretty much the same thing. All right. Weapons out. Majority of the time, weapon hand, the pistol's in. That arm is going to be straight. My free hand is going to be pulling straight back into that arm, locking everything. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you can have a modified isosceles and a modified weaver. It's just if you have your feet not quite evened up or you're moving to one side more than the other. Dynamic is basically the category that catches everything else, but most people think of dynamic as shooting and moving at the same time. All right. The important thing is with your stance is just to be comfortable. If you're comfortable in your stance, then you're going to be more comfortable in your shooting. You're going to be more consistent in your shooting. All right? And you're going to perform a little bit better. All right? That's the biggest thing. If your body's stressed and you're in a position where you are not comfortable, what are you going to be thinking about? You're going to be thinking about being uncomfortable, just like being in this classroom right now when I ask y'all questions. It's uncomfortable. I can see it on your faces. All right? You're uncomfortable. So, if you're comfortable, what are you going to be thinking about? You're going to be thinking about what you're doing, the fundamentals of shooting, and that's what you're going to be concentrating on. So it's going to improve your shooting. All right? The most important thing is this. All right? You want to have a slight body lean forward. Why do you want to have that? For the recoil, right? Is this thing going to kick and knock me all the way across the room?
No, sir.
No, it's not, is it? I hope not. All right? Is it going to kick and go flying out of my hand like this? Way back and hit the wall? It's not going to do that, right? This is the thing, why you want to be in that position. All right? It is to absorb recoil, yes. All right? So that's important. I want to be able to absorb the recoil and get back on target as soon as possible. But this is the other thing. Are gunfights static? No, they're not, right? Gunfights are fluid. They're moving. Right? Locate, close with, destroy the enemy, that kind of thing. Have y'all heard that before?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they're fluid, they're moving, right? I can't move very well if I'm not in a good position to move. All right? If my shooting position is this, and y'all be surprised what I've seen. If your shooting position is this, how well are you gonna move? Not well. If my shooting position is this, how well can I move? A little bit better? Alright. Be comfortable and be able to move in your stance. Alright? Even if you're just punching holes in paper, you play like you practice. Alright? And I promise you this. If any of y'all have ever been in a shooting situation or a combat situation, you do not rise up. You don't go, man, I'm a subpar shooter, and when I get in this gunfight, man, it's gonna be nothing but X's in his eyes. I'm gonna take them out. Right? It does not happen. You fall to the level of your training. Point blank. You fall to the level of your training. Alright? Most law enforcement shootouts, if I have an officer that goes out and shoots hundreds, every time he walks out the door and shoots on the range, he's shooting hundreds. SWAT officers. Even, if they're, y'all think, I just say that because everybody thinks, oh my God, it's a SWAT guy, he can shoot. Not necessarily. But the thing is this, if you shoot hundreds walking out the door, you get in a gunfight, guess what your percentages fall to when you're pulling a trigger in a gunfight? At best. Around 60. 50 to 60%. Alright? That's because a lot of these fundamentals go out the window. It just is what it is. Alright? Your body physically can't do it. Any questions? Alright, sight alignment and sight picture. Okay, who knows what sight alignment is without looking up at the board and reading it to me? Alright, sight alignment is very, very simple. It's the alignment of your rear sight and your front sight. Your rear sight and your front sight. Regardless whether it's a ghost ring sight, like on your M16s, your M4s, whatever you guys are shooting now. Alright? Whether it's a ghost ring sight or whether it's your sights like this, right? Stick sights. You're going to even them out horizontally and vertically. Alright? From front to back. What's the most important sight? When you're shooting, what's your most important sight? Your front sight, right? If you don't see anything else, what do you need to see? Front sight. Everybody good with that? Alright. Sight picture. What is sight picture? It's the relationship of your sights once they're aligned to the target. Nothing more, nothing less. The relationship of your sights to your target once they've been lined up. Everybody good with that?
Yes, sir.
Very, very simple.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
How you probably come on?
I'll get ready to get it. Alright, so proper sight alignment. When I have proper sight alignment and that weapon goes off, what should my target look like? It should look like this. It should be blurry. Does anybody understand why? Why's that?
Focusing on front sight.
Because I should be focusing on my front sight tip. Alright, and y'all look at me like I'm crazy. You're going, son, die. Well, how can I shoot something if my target's blurry? I can't see what the hell I'm shooting at. And you already told me